The time has come. Darth Vader issue number 10 just released today, guys. And as always, I mean, these comics just don't fail. They don't disappoint. And I don't expect them to for a long time. Just imagine we're still at number 10. Imagine what's going to happen when we get to 15 and 20. Absolutely marvelous. But let's go through what happened in this issue just released today. Issue number 10 of Darth Vader showed us with the previews, we saw how Darth Vader was ambushed not only by a subspecies of Suma Verminoth, the giant octopus that you see before you, but also from Sly Moore, the Umbaran that Darth Vader immediately recognized by her voice. She wanted to crush Darth Vader since the Eye of Webbish Bog and Ochia Bestoon had both failed. Now it was her turn. By sending a dozen TIE fighters, it was just not enough. Darth Vader was fairly by now known as the best, overwhelming pilot in the galaxy, and he proved it at this moment. By maneuvering with his tricks, believe me, he did not just use spinning. So Sly Moore just congratulated Darth Vader for destroying 6 TIEs. But the bridge officer actually said it was 8. No, wait, 11. It didn't matter to Sly Moore. They have hundreds of fighters. She wanted them unleashed immediately. And as you can see by this image, all 3 Star Destroyers now are unleashing their full armada. It looked like the puny teeny Darth Vader was running away from these TIE fighters, and much to the delight of Ochia Bestoon, who said there is no shame in running, he does it all the time. The fool did not really understand Darth Vader's methods. You see, Darth Vader did not see the Suma Verminoth as an enemy. No, he saw it as an ally when he first glanced at it. He was going straight for the Red Cloud and the Suma Verminoth, who was now crushing the TIE fighters by itself, with Vader evading. The Admiral was baffled. What was that? But it was the endgame. According to Sly Moore, it's a subspecies of the Suma Verminoth, which I predicted in the last comic that it would be that. It's a very similar creature to what we saw in Solo, A Star Wars Story. It was the galaxy's greatest predator. Even better than you, Lord Vader, said Sly Moore. What's worse is that the Red Cloud helped the Suma Verminoth transcend the merely physical attacks. Vader felt the pain just for a tiny bit until it went straight for the Verminoth. As the creature prepped for Darth Vader, it simply evaded it. With a swift turn, it had escaped the Verminoth completely. The Imperials were shocked at what happened and wanted Sly Moore to go after them, but she did not. She knew the dangers of the Red Cloud and Exegol itself, and so this was the end for them. She suspected that not even Darth Vader could escape from that red nebula. The assassin was glad as well that they evaded the creature, but now the red gas was starting to permeate through their system, forming hallucinations. The first one Vader saw was of the Suma Verminoth in the middle, seemingly judging the contest between Vader and Ben Kenobi. Ben was telling Vader that if he strikes him down, he will become more powerful than he could possibly imagine, something that Vader had already lived through. But similar to the last time, Vader had had enough. He slashed at Obi-Wan with his lightsaber, and he told whoever was listening that he is beyond all this. Nothing could distract him, especially with... But at that moment, somebody else spoke. "The Force is with you," he said, and as Vader turned to see who it was the spitting image of himself. "The Force is with you, young Skywalker," said Darth Vader to a very young Luke Skywalker, which he fought in Empire Strikes Back. It had been some time since they both met on Cloud City on Bespin. Vader was now watching this interaction from afar. "But you are not a Jedi yet," said Vader to Luke. And again, the scenario changed. Now we were on Mustafar, with Obi-Wan telling Anakin that he has the high ground. But for Vader, it was simple. He underestimated his power. Similar to how Vader underestimated Luke Skywalker, his son. The scenarios were changing ever so slightly, but still similar in a way. Vader cut off Luke's right arm, the same way Obi-Wan cut off Anakin's limbs. But now the roles were completely reversed. It was Luke Skywalker standing there in place of Obi-Wan, telling a furious young Vader that he loved him. The next scene, we get to see again the roles are reversed. Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker now with his cut off arm and defense defenseless against his son, Luke Skywalker, who told him that there is no escape. Vader now was in the same position Luke was, but he still had the same thoughts permeating through his mind. He looked at himself for a second, said "I," and then told Luke the truth once again. "I am your father." As Luke was approaching, Vader told Luke that he could destroy the Emperor. He has foreseen this. It is your destiny. And then he extended his left arm in a gesture for Luke to join him, and together they can, but before he could finish, Luke simply cut off the other hand as well in furious anger as he let off a scream. Visually, you can see the scream bubble. Finally, Luke had finished the job. Admittedly, by Anakin's own lightsaber, he had plunged the same one into Vader's chest and left his body there to lie. Vader was now dead. He was seeing himself die in front of his eyes, and to make matters worse, it was his own son who had killed him. Suddenly, the Emperor was there. Palpatine was congratulating Luke Skywalker for a good job done. And as Palpatine left in the red mist in darkness, so did Luke Skywalker follow behind him, with Vader lying there dead. Luke had killed him in anger, and now he joined Palpatine as his new Sith apprentice, which Palpatine of course said it was his destiny. Another Luke Skywalker in the clutches of Palpatine, and thankfully, right at that moment, Vader's starship made it out of the nebula, hurled its way tumbling to Exegol. They had finally arrived. A disheveled Vader barely made it out alive, together with the assassin, who knew that the red mist had messed with his head as well. He asked him, "Did it show you how you would die?" But before they even had time to talk, the Summa Verminoth had followed them to Exegol as well. It had come to finish its job. The assassin wanted to run, but not Darth Vader. He does not fear death as the creature is approaching Vader. It is simply not an option, as Vader extended his new robotic arm and started influencing the Summa Verminoth. While the assassin warned him that that's cheating, the Emperor will kill him for using the Force, for Vader, it was far too late. Many people had made promises to kill Darth Vader. They hope to fill me with fear, but they forget that fear leads to anger, as Darth Vader started influencing the monster more and more. Anger leads to hate, and hate leads to power, as now the Summa Verminoth was completely vulnerable. It fell to the ground just by sheer will and the force of Darth Vader. It had mind-tricked and manipulated the creature, since both Anakin and Vader now have shown constant abilities, higher abilities of communicating with animals. Now we see the extent of that power. Darth Vader can go as far as mind-trick and manipulate the most gigantic creature known to the galaxy. And so now the Emperor will fear Darth Vader, as Vader alone had now climbed on the back of the Summa Verminoth and ordered it to travel to the nearest temple, which is very familiar to us since we have seen it in the Rise of Skywalker movie. Here it is more pristine. In the film it's kind of broken up more, but as it's tradition with these comics, it ends right here with a gigantic cliffhanger, which we'll get to see in the next issue coming in a month or so. So guys, let me know all your thoughts on what you thought about this comic. We will get to talk about specific details in later videos. This was just more of an overall video that I had tons of fun making. So if you enjoyed it as well, leave a thumbs up down below, subscribe for dailies. Now you have an awesome day, Star Wars fans. I'll see you in the next video, and may the Force be with you until then.